Defensive tackle has been a concern. Has anybody stepped up and separated themselves from that group?
The part of what we're saying here is the question is, did they separate themselves from the group? But did they separate themselves for showing you that you're confident in them? Look, Jordan Elliott, the returns are good, and we hear all the positives, whether it's Myles Garrett, whether it's the coaching staff. But it's got to translate into production. We'll see. He's going to probably get an extended look this week. I think Tommy Togiai, in an ideal world, the way you want this to work is you want it to work that Jordan Elliott and Tommy Togiai basically elevate themselves above the rest of this room. Taven Bryan is somebody who can kind of help in pass rushing, but I do think the Browns have an idea when they go to nickel and dime. Maybe it's only going to be one defensive tackle on the field. They'll play three edge guys. You can put Myles on the inside. We've seen him there. You can certainly do it with Jadeveon Clowney. And then you get to Perrion Winfrey. And Perrion Winfrey, look, there's a lot of activity, but it's got to translate into something. There were a couple times on Sunday where, like pushed back like he was on skates. And keep in mind, these were not starting NFL offensive linemen. But you kind of give him a little bit of a curve, 4th-round pick. You can't expect him to come in and be gangbusters. But somebody in this room needs to improve. They need to get better because, you can say, man, we really love this Browns secondary. But if it gets to the point where the opposing team doesn't have to throw the ball because they're gutting you on the run, and we've seen this at times with the Steelers, we know what Joe Mixon is capable of. We know what the Ravens running game is capable of. This needs to be something that these guys need to step up and step up quickly.
When you look at it, do you think they add a defensive tackle, a veteran, or trade for one potentially? Look at the 53-man cut. Is that a position you're looking at and saying, man, we could add this guy, or this guy?
We've been doing this for 2.5 years now. That's the problem. I mean, we've been looking at this defensive tackle room and saying, well, what about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? They have drafted 3 guys in the past 3 drafts. So obviously they're expecting these guys to find a way to contribute. They felt that they could. They basically found, they found something by turning over a stone last year in Malik McDowell. They played Malik Jackson out of position last year. They brought him in here with the, interpretation that Malik Jackson was always a good pass rusher from the interior, but yet there he was out there on 1st and 2nd down, getting beat up on the run and couldn't bring much as far as being, a pass rusher when they need him to be. Would I be surprised if they signed somebody who was cut? Yeah. Would I be surprised if they traded for somebody? I'd be stunned if they traded for somebody. You've had 3 off seasons now to try to truly address this defensive tackle position. I think the way they feel is they are a very athletic defense. They would rather have more athletes on the field than necessarily have a 330-pound run plugger. The only attempt they really did to go for a guy that big certainly didn't work out when they brought the guy over from the Cincinnati Bengals who sat out 19 with COVID, Andrew Billings, and then 2020 when he got on the field, he didn't do anything for them. I think they have a type for what they like at defensive tackle. They just haven't been able to get their hands on him. They'd like a guy who was right around 300 pounds, quick, kind of like Aaron Donald, just like every other NFL team would like. But they certainly don't grow on trees. But I think they're ready to roll. And if it gets to a point, maybe a month into the season, where they realize that it's something that might be holding them back, maybe then it's going to be something that they're going to address. But I wholeheartedly think that they're probably just going to run with what they have for right now.